All right, I want to do a quick video on the M.I.A situation. She just got dropped from Kid Cudi's tour. Kid Cudi released a statement. Um, this is a TLDR. He released a statement saying that he didn't want like fighting, or he didn't want like people to be offended at his shows. I'll get into that later, but he released a statement. M.I.A did a statement the next day, yesterday. Right now we're like 3 days into it. I know, not a big deal. It's just, I don't know, celebrities saying stuff that offends people once again. But it's a good lesson on media storms and what people want you to think about situations. Okay, so I went to Kid Cudi, M.I.A, Big Boy. We went last week when they were in Albuquerque, and it was awesome. I loved it. Big Boy just blew it away. M.I.A, her set was like weird. So like she came out and she said something, the words that you're not supposed to say on the internet, which I won't say. I've said them in my other videos, but it's like what I wanted our presidential candidates to say in the last election, and no one said it. And it's what a lot of people are scrutinized for saying, what a lot of people are arrested and detained by ICE for saying. M.I.A said it at her show, which is important if you could think of the words. The watermelon. Okay, all right, so M.I.A said it, and then she proceeded to do some albums off her new, like, it's like Kanye religious era. It's like her coming to Christianity, and it sounded cool, man. Like, but the speakers weren't working, sound was all fucked up. She ended up cutting her set short. You could tell she just did paper planes, and then dipped. Like, it was a really short set because her sound wasn't working, and she was kind of like openly kind of frustrated about it. And she did mention, she's like, oh, is it because I said but she said it, and then, but like as a joke. I don't know if that's why. I think the sound was just like messed up or something, but it wasn't working. Anyway, her set was short. Kid Cudi comes on. Awesome. I loved Cudi. My partner loves him. We had a great time. We loved it. And then I read that she said all of that stuff in Texas and then got kicked off the tour. This comes like a few days later, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty wild. So here's how I feel about what she said. It sounded like she was, I don't know. I don't think she was saying anything like against immigrants. I think she was acknowledging like half the people in her Texas crowd are probably illegal. Which, I mean, maybe she was pointing that out. Maybe it was in bad taste, like people go on stage and they start ranting about whatever. I think she was ranting, and then she's just like, oh, fuck. And everyone booed. This is the video that I saw. Everyone booed after she saw that, and she went, oh, come on, guys. Well, she didn't say, oh, come on, guys, but that's like the demeanor she had. And she was like, come on. Like, I'm illegal. Half my team's not here because we're illegal. So it's just like, she's just like, what you booing about? Like, and this gets into like a bigger thing. So I think that like there are all these problems in America, and we are going after the wrong forces. Like, we are in a police state. We're in a fascist state. You could say whatever you want. It's a free country. But if you go too far, if you say things that are too far out of like the gauge of what we say it's okay for you to say, then you're canceled, or like you've offended people, or you've hurt feelings, or you're not allowed to talk about what you wanted to talk about. I think people should be allowed to talk about whatever. So okay, I've been like really into M.I.A lately. I'm old, I'm millennial, I'm like, I just like this. I love her. I love her music, especially first two albums. I even like her new ones, like it's all right, but it's pretty good. Dude, her third album, fucking dope. It's like noise. She was ahead of her time. She's always been saying cool stuff. And I know there's a little controversy about like the pandemic and her saying that stuff, but don't get me started on that. I'll tell you this, I don't trust pharmaceutical companies. All right, I'll leave it at that. I'm not trying to be controversial or anything. I just don't trust pharmaceutical companies. I don't trust medical insurance companies. I don't trust pharmaceutical companies. They're for-profit companies. Okay? Like, I think we could all agree on that. Like, I think we all kind of see that. All right? I think that, like, we've all heard, like, make the poison to sell you the antidote. Hey, get the fuck out of there. Dog's in the garden. Hey. No. Bad girl. Okay, come here. I can't catch it. Okay, anyway. She's a punk. Okay. What was I saying? Okay, so M.I.A. Gets kicked off the tour after this incident. Kid Cudi was getting a lot of bad mail. But this is the thing. Kid Cudi is not a Lauryn Hill type artist. Kid Cudi's not like Tupac. Kid Cudi's not like these. Okay, he's not like an artist that doesn't give a fuck what you have to say. He's vibes. He's like, let's smoke weed, crush a bit, little bit, roll it up. Like, he's chilling. He's vibes. He's having a good time. His show was it's cool. Nothing wrong with that. He doesn't want to be political. M.I.A., kind of a controversial figure because she speaks her mind. But this is the thing. Like, when you speak your mind, if it doesn't go with the hive mind of, I'm going to call them liberals. I don't like liberals. I'm sick of liberals. Conservatives are a cult. Liberals are a bunch of soft people that are going, what about me? What about me? What about me? And they're not thinking of, like, the bigger picture. They just have to make everything about, like, all of these little problems. And then when you do that, then we end up with these problems, like having ICE in the street. We end up losing women's rights to their body. We end up losing all of these things because of all of this, what about me? What about me? What about me? No, it's what about us? All of us. Okay? I'm sick of liberals. I don't like liberals. I don't like these, I don't know, like, we're not given a good choice of candidates because they have to go through every, like, I don't know, Gavin Newsom's a good example. He can't say anything without having a team be like, okay, like, this is okay to say. Like, they're all a bunch of Kid Cudis. They're all just trying to go with the crowd. So I don't know if any of you have seen that new show Pluribus, but it's like a hive mind. This is the liberals. They're in their little fantasy world, and where there are no problems and everyone's accepted and everyone's like, okay, cool, but you are losing what it is to be human. We're losing to tech oligarchs. We're losing to the stock market. We're losing the capital. Like, we're losing to the owners. We're losing to the haves and have-nots. M.I.A. talks about this stuff. So recently, she's gone on some conservative podcast. She talked to Candace Owens, and they had, like, kind of a back and forth, and they agreed on the thing that I'm not supposed to say on the internet. They agreed. This is why, like, Candace Owens has been, like, ostracized from, like, Republican circles, because she said this. Even her, like, who I disagree with her on a lot of stuff. I think she's a grifter. She's annoying. But I agree with her on that. I think that was brave. I think it was, like, it's always brave, like, to say the right thing. But she did say the right thing, agreed with M.I.A. on that. And then M.I.A. hits her with, like, so what do you think of BLM? Because this was something that Candace Owens had been, like, staunchly against and bad for black people and all this, whatever she was saying. So M.I.A. hits her with that, like, and then she goes, no, I still don't like BLM. I forget what she said, but she still, like, I don't know, thinks it was a bad cause or whatever. M.I.A. kind of, like, disagrees with her on that, and then they move on, and then they talk about other things. All right, are they ignoring something important? No. Are they talking about it? Yeah. Are they agreeing on it? No. But also, like, I'm listening. Listen to Candace Owens. Why does she think that? Or why does she say she thinks that? I think she's grifting. But, like, why does she think that? Why does M.I.A. think what she thinks? Okay, like, what is causing that? Why would you say, okay, and this is the thing. So everyone's like, okay, M.I.A. is a Republican. She's supporting, like, Republican politicians and blah, blah, blah. She's never, okay, here's the thing. She's never said she's a Republican. She did support RFK. So you would think, like, oh, she's a Republican. But if you ask why, RFK was saying some pretty interesting things. I never liked him. He's a okay, yeah, he's that, but so I never liked him, but he was saying good things. He was saying stuff about health. He was saying stuff about Monsanto, about seeds. I don't know. It's like, it's good. We need to hear these things. We need to hear these things. In fact, like, it's cool that he got put on like health board or whatever. I actually kind of fuck with that. Doesn't mean I like him. I think he's a piece of doo doo, but like, listen, why? What is he saying? Like, there's some stuff you could agree on. And I'm not trying to like say I'm not a centrist at all. I'm not saying there's like a halfway point, but like, we are way too quick to go after people for speaking their mind. Okay. We even put words in their mouth. We're saying, okay, the M.I.A. situation is interesting because she wasn't even saying anything that was really that bad. And if Kid Cudi is the person that was responsible for cutting her off the tour, I understand that, because I know you don't want to talk about this stuff. I know you don't want to hear people like me talking. Like, I mean, like, who fuck? No one wants to fucking hear this. Everyone's like, you just want to watch football and eat burgers, and like I don't know, why are we so, I don't know, we don't like thinking about things that actually matter. We don't like to do that. We like to stay in our like ignorant